It's time to talk about this week's top indie comic picks for New Comic Book Day, May 25th. Alright, let's get straight into the picks. This week, before I do the top 10 picks, I have a trade paperback recommendation, and that is going to be for Billy the Kid, Volume 1. Finally coming out, the full first 5 issues of the series, or 6, I can't remember how many it was now. I think it was 5. From Blue Juice Comics, written by Justin Gray, with art by Barry McLean Jr. Such an awesome story. I've talked about it before on the channel. We've had Justin and Barry on the channel when Circumstances also came on and did the interview with me. And it's such a fun story. Wild West has never been wilder. Introducing Billy the Kid, a gunslinging rabbit seeking revenge against the tornado god that killed his family. Why was the sickly, skinny rabbit spared such a gruesome fate? What makes him so special? With the help of Luther the Goat, a profanity-spewing martial arts master, Billy relies on faith, magical firearms, and kung fu to wage war against the pagan gods and monsters of a bygone era. Created by Ringo Award-winning writer Justin Gray and artist Barry McLean Jr., with digital paints by Slamat Mugiano. Fantastic story. Cannot recommend it more. So go check out the trade paperback of this coming out this week. So let's get to my number 10 pick this week. And this is a one-shot from Aftershock Comics called Spectro. It is written and drawn by Juan Doe. A quartet of quintessential horror tales from the multi-talented Juan Doe, presented in a single prestige format one-shot. Spectro explores the unnerving spectrum of fear through 4 terrifying stories rooted in a cosmic game of twisted karma and phantasmagoric terror. 1. What is at stake when the sentient technology manipulates a man with projections of his desired self? 2. What are the consequences of excommunicating a member of the 9 planets? 3. What is discovered when an explorer travels to Mars to ascend the tallest mountain in the solar system? And 4. What happens when a scientist aboard the International Space Station is confronted with the most horrifying aspects of humankind? In what realm of fear do these stories exist? Spectro. It is a horror anthology from deep within the recesses of the mind of one of comics' most prolific talents. Coming out this week is my number 10 pick, and it is coming to us from Aftershock Comics. This week, number 9 pick is none other than Murder Hobo Chaotic Neutral number 404 from Scout Comics, written by Joseph Schmalke and Jarrett Melendez, with art by Steve Levine and a cover that is awesome and crazy and gruesome by Ryan Brown. Lord Froth's sinister plan is set in motion when he brings a thief, a psycho, a pyromaniac, nymphomaniac, and a Drakkard together for the first and perhaps the last time. It's a meeting of the ages, and the lands of high adventure will never be the same. Don't miss out on this climactic final issue. It's been a while since issue 3 came out of this, but I'm very much excited for this next issue. This has been so much fun to read as someone who has played D&D. I love the whole theme of the murder hobo and how that's such a bad idea to play a character that way, but also really appreciate the really funny story elements that are thrown into this. So Murder Hobo Chaotic Neutral number 4 is my number 9 pick this week. Number 8 this week, this one's always going to end up in my top. You know that. Something's Killing the Children number 23 is my number 8 pick this week. James Tynion IV and Werther Dell'Edera from Boom Studios. We've got the next story in the chapter of the story of Erica Slaughter. Trapped in the county jail, Erica must use her one phone call to contact someone from her past. But will they come to her aid? Escape may come from a most unexpected place, but with it, the revelation of a terrifying new threat that will push Erica to her limits. Something's Killing Children. Always recommend this series. Pick up the trades, pick up the collection of the first 15 issues, the hardcover. However you want to read it, go and read this. You won't regret diving into this story because it is fantastic. And it is my number 8 pick this week. Number 7 comes from Image Comics, and we've got Saga number 59 from Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Saga really is a saga. It is phenomenal. It is so much story. And another one, if you have not read this is the indie comic that cannot be recommended more than any other, because I think it's a comic that a lot of people can get into easily. I recommend a lot of comics on this channel, and a lot of them maybe some people will like more than other people, but this one I think most people are going to enjoy, and it is a phenomenal sci-fi saga, and I love what's going on in this new chapter. But if the threat that I saw at the end of the last issue comes true, Brian K. Vaughan, you're in trouble. That's all I gotta say. Don't want to spoil anything, but there's a threat on a character, and I'm hoping that character's off limits to death, but probably not, knowing Brian K. Vaughan and who he has killed already. So, what's going on in this issue? What the hell does this fish have to do with the people who want Hazel dead? Find out this May as the strangest epic in comics continues. Somehow still only $2.99. Which that is so fantastic. Came back at a time when comics were more expensive than when the last issue of Saga came out. And Brian said, I do not want to charge more. And so probably for him, you lose money in that case. But he's doing this for the story. This is the story that he said is for comic readers only. So it probably will never be adapted. Versus, we've got Paper Girls being adapted. We've got Why the Last Man already had a season. His other properties are not off limits. So please read Saga. 59 is coming out this week. All 54 of the first issues are collected in many different versions. So go check that out. And Saga 59 is my number 7 pick this week. Coming in for number 6 is another Aftershock book, Land of the Living Gods, issue number 4, from Isaac Mogahane and Santos. As Naledi learns the truth behind Lutho's shocking abilities, Kalo starts executing a mysterious plan of her own. But in order to pull it off, she'll have to confront the ghosts of her past and strike dark deals with people she swore she would never look upon again. Meanwhile, with her perceived power slowly fading away, Shandu's witch Baleka sets her eyes on Naledi and the magical properties harbored by her various body parts. I've really been enjoying this very unique story. I love the plant and its interesting properties and abilities. So I'm looking forward to another issue in this. I believe we should have at least one more issue from this series. It doesn't seem like this will be the last one, but I've been enjoying this one a whole lot, and I know that confirmed there are 5 issues in the series. I know there's talk because I think the writer is a film director in South Africa, so there's always been talk about, is this going to get adapted at some point? I don't know. We never know, right? But it's cool to have a book written from someone who has that experience and it maybe writing from that side of things. So Land of the Living Gods number 4 is my number 6 pick this week. Coming in for number 5 is Good Boy Volume 2, issue number 1 from Source Point Press. Absolutely loved Volume 1. I love Flint Sparks. Sparks Comics, gotta love a character with the last name of Sparks, of course. Garrett Gunn, Christina Blanche writing such a cool flipped John Wick story. Kit Wallace doing the art, and I'm here for the second volume. With revenge in his rearview mirror, Flint heads for the farm, a peaceful community for retired and deactivated guild members. But his dreams are short-lived when he finds the facility in rubble after an attack by a mysterious canine named Tucker, who will stop at nothing to repay a decades-old vengeful debt. Hoping I get my Kickstarter copy soon, hopefully before Wednesday. Got a cool metal variant in that, so very much looking forward to getting those. But if not, I'll be reading it on Wednesday when it comes out in stores. So SourcePoint Press, Good Boy, Volume 2, Issue number 1, from Garrett Gunn and Christina Blanche is my number 5 pick this week. Number 4 this week is a new one from Vault Comics, Fox and Hare, Issue number 1, from Jonathan Sui and Stacy Lee. We've got an interesting news story here when black market coder Aurora Yee uncovers top secret data that has tapped into the past lives of the citizen of Mazu Bay. Her world is turned upside down. The mega corporation Sinistry Designs wants its data back, and it's hot on her trail. Aurora has no choice but to turn to the Fox and the Hare, the most feared mercenaries in the city, for protection. This one, you can take a look at the interior art and what Stacy Lee's artwork looks like, and I am really digging it. The lines are awesome. The colors in this, colorist is doing an excellent job on this story, so I'm very excited to check it out. I honestly, cover A isn't my favorite of the covers, but the interior artwork, it's the same artist doing the cover, is phenomenal. So I feel like the cover A does have a little bit of a cheesiness to it, which sometimes you got to have that in there with comics. But some of the other covers for Fox and Hare are pretty unique, so check those out. Going on down to number 3. Number 3 pick this week is from Image Comics, and it is Blood-Stained Teeth number 2, written by Christian Ward, art by Patrick Reynolds, with a Christian Ward cover A. Just absolutely loved issue number 1 for this one. We've got vampires that can create more vampires, choosing mostly to not do so because they're trying to prevent, people finding out about them, but one of them really was into it and loved the money he could make off of doing it. And now he's being told, you have to essentially kill all of your creations. We can't have them around. You are in so much trouble. If you don't kill them, we are gonna end you, essentially. So, Vampire for Hire Atticus Sloan is in trouble. Now he'll have to use all his guile to stay ahead of Firstborn Council and the murderous Mr. Tooth. Unfortunately, it also means going head-to-head with vicious, cage-fighting vampire Duke Ellis. I assume that's who we got pictured on cover A here. So, looks like Atticus has his match set up there. So, Bloodstained Teeth number 2 from Image Comics is my number 3 pick this week. Coming in for number 2 is the 3rd volume, all new chapter of Pearl from Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos. This one coming from Dark Horse Comics, coming from the Jinx World imprint. I believe that has now moved over to Dark Horse with Brian Michael Bendis. And I loved reading Pearl when it first came out from his Jinx World imprint that was, I think at the time, published through DC Comics. And I'm here for the next chapter. A brand new chapter in the tattoo artist Yakuza Assassin Romantic Odyssey, Pearl. That's right, the critically acclaimed Jinx World title makes its Dark Horse debut with a brand new chapter in the wild life of Pearl Tanaka. Fully painted by award-winning graphic novelist Michael Gaydos, Pearl is a very unique experience about an artist discovering all the secrets of the modern Yakuza world she was born into by no fault of her own. After finding out the truth about her parents in previous volumes, the real question is, who is the Ghost Dragon of San Francisco? Get instantly caught up on the beautifully fully painted page of the book. Comic Watch, AIPT, Comicosity, Comicverse all gave a 10 out of 10 from the creators of Jessica Jones. So yeah, if you have not read Pearl, highly recommend it. It has 2 volumes already out. This will be the 3rd volume coming here. And I think Dark Horse reprinted the trade paperbacks for volumes 1 and 2, so you can easily pick those up and get caught up. Pearl 3 volume 1, whatever I'm trying to say. Pearl volume 3 number 1 from Dark Horse Comics is my number 2 pick. Coming in for number 1 is one from Scout Comics. It is The Recount Preamble from Jonathan Hedrick and Gil Lopez. Recount Volume 1, fantastic, great story. Jonathan Hedrick described it as an anti-political thriller because it really is not about the politics that are going on between the different parties or anything like that, but it is about the political world. And so it's really a unique story in that perspective. I've read volume number 1. I've done a review over on our website, youpromisemecomics.com, which is linked down below in the description. Go check it out. I really, really highly recommend picking up the Recount Preamble and finding a trade paperback for Volume 1, because finding issues of Volume 1 is actually pretty hard right now. There's a lot of hype behind the series and talks about it being produced into something. So, Recount Preamble. Scout's hit series is back, set years before the shocking events of the Recount. Preamble details the life of Phil Pontus, the tragic death of his mother, his military service and subsequent decision to enter politics, his ascent to the office of vice president, and the terrible events that culminated in his assumption of leadership of a terrorist group known only as the Masses. So this is his rise to terror, I guess. And it's really a story that you don't want to care about this guy, but you kind of do. You see the tragedy that happened in his life, and you still think he's a bad person in the end for the events that have happened in the Recount, but the events that led him there are also really bad. So Jonathan Hedrick really brought out more to this character using this one-shot preamble, and really appreciate that happening here. So awesome story. Go check it out. Lots of exclusive covers out there as well, so go check those out if you can. Pick up some that you like. Lots of cool artwork on these. So that's it. That is my number 1 pick this week. Recount Preamble number 1 from Scout Comics. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it here, aren't subscribed to the channel, go hit that button down below. Really appreciate it. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you're picking up this week for New Comic Book Day. And drop a like on the video. As always, collect what you love. See you next time.